For example, they tried to put in a new prime minister recently. Today he resigned because the people said, we don't want that guy. Now imagine if the people in America had the power to choose who was maybe going to run or not run the Federal Reserve Bank, for example. I mean, what a remarkable idea. Democracy, what a remarkable idea. People power. And the key to this whole technologically enabled, enhanced revolution. And of course, the government can't shut down the internet without shutting down the entire country. So they don't have that option. So they are beat. This current leadership in this country and around the region are basically out of business. And this is the people now are pushing forward. And of course, it's not based on Islam. It's not based on any politics. It's not based on any religion. I see Glenn Beck over in the UK, in the US, is trying to push this line that this is an Islamist revolution, which is completely wrong. And there's nothing religious or theocratic about this people's revolution.
Well, there's certainly the Muslim Brotherhood element in it, but expanding on that, looking to the West there with what's happening in Libya, what's your view on Muammar Gaddafi with all the British weapons he's got, the open talk of having some type of NATO/UN/US ad hoc group going in there, currently backing the rebels in the east. They're on the border with Egypt. What do you think about the incredible turmoil popping up in Saudi Arabia? Do you see this thing spreading?
Well, the question with Gaddafi you have to ask yourself is they discovered he's got $30 billion parked in banks in the UK and the US. Now, that money was parked after the Patriot Act was enacted, which supposedly put in rules in force that would prevent that kind of activity from happening. So did Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan give Gaddafi a waiver? Did the Federal Reserve and the Treasury Secretary Tim Geithner give Gaddafi a waiver? He didn't have to comply with the law. Why doesn't Gaddafi have to comply with the law? And everyone else does have to comply with the law. What about Tony Blair? Wasn't he Gaddafi's good friend just 2 or 3 years ago? Selling him arms, hooking up blood for oil deals after the Iraq Fandango? Where's Blair in all this? How come Tony Blair's not out there supporting his friend, Colonel Gaddafi? It's utter lunacy and hypocrisy. Well,
that's just like a few months ago it came out that one U.S. bank alone laundered $360+ billion in Mexican narcotics money and was even chartering the airplanes and owning the airplanes for them, but the banks don't get in trouble for this.
Exactly right. So the banks are on a two-speed economy and a two-speed politics, which is a kleptocracy, which is tyrannical, which is why Americans should be revolting, which is why there should be 1 million people crossing the Brooklyn Bridge and surrounding the Federal Reserve Bank in New York and demanding the current head of the New York Fed comes out.
That's right. People shouldn't. I mean, people always talk about marching. Washington's is where the castrated ceremonial puppets are. If people are really going to march, it'd be on the Federal Reserve Bank of New York.
Absolutely. I mean, that's where the dictatorship is. Revolutions work, Alex. That's my message from Cairo, Egypt, is that if it's a decentralized, true, organic people's revolution, the establishment powers, even if they're armed, like these regimes are armed, they can't do anything about it. So the question to Americans are, what are you waiting for? The time is now. You're being held hostage by tyrants. Why are you letting people in North Africa and the Middle East make you look like you like being in prison, that you like being ruled over by tyrants? What are you waiting for?
Max, looking at other areas of the Middle East, the Saudi king pumping out $37 billion last week, billions more this week, tanks rolling around the streets there. What's the feeling on the street in Cairo? Is it that this revolution against the plutocrats and the corrupt royalty and the dictators is going to continue?
Well, it's definitely spreading, outside of Saudi Arabia is Bahrain, and that has been very active. And Saudi Arabia is the kingpin in the region. There's 3 big players in the North Africa and the Middle East. It's Saudi Arabia, Israel, and the United States. And the Saudi Arabian unrest is percolating. The royal family is trying to buy off the people by increasing the amount of money they're giving them. We see this happening in other regimes as well. They're trying to buy the people off. But the people at this point, they're feeling that no amount of money can buy them off, because they want to feel something more than money. They want to feel integrity. They want to feel like their life is worth something.
Well, that's the bigger issue, is that in these corrupt, swaggering police states, people are tired of the arrogance and the abuse of the security forces, and they always want it to go away. And no amount of money by these arrogant bureaucracies, whether it's here or in Saudi Arabia, is going to assuage the people's rage.
No, and remember when Bush took office back, when he threw that election back in 2000 and again in 2004, he really sent everybody in America a check for between $600 and $1,200. So he's mimicking these Middle East kings and rulers by giving the peasants a few dollars to shut them up. I mean, how outrageous is that? I mean, is that all a life in America is worth $600 from Bush, the royal monarch? I mean, give yourself some kind of self-respect.
Max, when we come back from break, I want to get into more of what's happening in the Middle East, maybe keep you a little bit in the next hour if we can. Joining us again via video link from Cairo, Egypt, right off the Nile there. Amazing video shot of your prisonplanet.tv viewer. Radio listeners are again getting to hear his analysis. I want to get into this sudden announcement in the Wall Street Journal and Time Magazine that America's over, that the dollar is going to die. Why you think they're announcing that now, what this signifies. The Chinese openly announcing that they're going to demand all trade by the end of this year be in their currency. The yuan. These are earth-shattering economic announcements. It's old news for our audience, but it's big that it's now being announced. Max Keiser's our guest. I'm Alex Jones. This is the GCN Radio Network, GCNlive.com.
9 years, thousands of clients worldwide, amazing results. And here's more proof of the effectiveness of how Heart and Body Extract supports good circulation and healthy arterial flow.
My name is Crystal. I'm a 45-year-old and live in Houston, Texas. I was diagnosed with having mitral valve prolapse 10 years ago. My cardiologist said surgery and drugs was the only thing he could offer me.
What did Crystal do?
I ordered Heart and Body Extract in August 2006. When I first took my first 15 drops, I embraced the formula and could even feel the goodness of the formula starting to work.
Clean, clear arteries are happy arteries after using Heart and Body Extract. Learn more at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305. That's hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305. HB Extract comes with a 100% ironclad money-back guarantee. Details at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305 for Heart and Body Extract.
Hi, this is Alex Jones. Did you know that the global elite are now storing non-hybrid seeds in secret storage vaults near the Arctic Circle? Did you know that in a real meltdown, non-hybrid seeds can become more valuable than silver or gold? It's true, seeds have outperformed even gold and silver before in this country, and it's possible that could even happen again. So our friends at Solutions from Science have put together the perfect mix of non-hybrid seeds. They call it a survival seed bank, and it can produce an endless supply of nutrient-dense food for you and your family. And here's the best part. These seeds have not been genetically modified in any way, and you actually get enough seeds to plant a full-acre crisis garden. So visit them today at survivalseedbank.com. That's survivalseedbank.com, or give them a call at 877-327-0365. That's 877-327-0365. Remember, in a real crisis, non-hybrid seeds are the ultimate barter item. This is Alex Jones for survivalseedbank.com.
Fight back this cold and flu season with the world's best garlic extract, Ali C. Why Ali C? Because it helps your body fight viruses, bacteria, and fungi. Ali C has been scientifically proven in double-blind studies using low doses to greatly reduce the number, severity, and duration of common colds. Ali C contains 300 milligrams of stabilized allicin, the active ingredient in crushed garlic. Studies show Ali C is effective against MRSA, bacterial, fungal, and viral infections. One tablet of Ali C has the equivalent of 40 cloves of garlic. Ali C supports your body's resistance to all types of conditions and can help lower high blood pressure and high cholesterol. So boost your body's resistance to infection with nature's best garlic extract, Ali C. For more information and to order Ali C, call 877-888-7126 or go to garlichealthproducts.com. That's 1-877-888-7126 or go to garlichealthproducts.com for your Ali C today.
With us 5 minutes into the next hour, and then I had scheduled from last week an interview, part 2 with Lenny Dykstra. who has beaten J.P. Morgan in court. He's beaten the SEC over 200 times. Remember, they took his houses, claimed that he was, insolvent. I want to get him on to talk about mortgage fraud. We'll also talk about Charlie Sheen some. I was in a meeting for an hour and a half last night with Lenny and Charlie. We won't get into that private meeting. The point is we're trying to help Charlie out, too, navigate through all this stuff that's going on. So that's coming up in about 10 minutes from now. Going back to Max Keiser. Max, what do you make of the Wall Street Journal coming out today and saying why the dollar's reign is near an end? The Chinese have come out today and saying by the end of this year they want all trade, all purchases of Chinese goods to be in their currency. Why are they doing this now, and how big is this?
Well, they're doing it now because there's no denying it anymore. They can't hide it anymore, and everybody knows it. I mean, this is no secret. The dollar is no longer going to work as a world reserve currency anymore, and we're moving toward a new global currency grid. The dollar is going to play a lot less of a role. The key to understand is that when time for the dollar to devalue comes, it'll happen in one day, and suddenly everything in America will cost 2 to 3 times more. And America will, the president will say, well, we had no choice. We had to devalue the dollar because it's going to help you, our export market. It's going to help you get jobs. Of course, the only jobs that America will be qualified for at that point will be cotton picking. So you're going to have, 20 million cotton pickers in America competing with cotton pickers around the world. So it's over. The Wall Street Journal is stating the obvious. At some point, it's embarrassing for them to pretend like this is not the case. I mean, they have to at least recognize what's the obvious situation, so they can't hide it anymore. It's exactly what we've been saying on your show, and it's why gold and silver are hitting new highs. They'll continue to hit new highs because the fiat currency regime and the U.S. dollar, period, is finished. It's that simple.
Max, but the question is, why have they gone from denying that this was a certainty mathematically with what they've done with the dollar globally to now saying, yes, it's coming?
Well, I think that they're now preparing to set up the new banking facilities because, when the dollar crashes and it's replaced with another global currency of some type, an expanded special drawing rights, that's a huge piece of business for the banksters. They will have to convert U.S. dollars into SDRs, trade bonds based on that. Remember, before Davos, they said they needed to trade a $100 trillion new credit facility. That's huge fees for Morgan and Goldman Sachs, for the banksters. So they're preparing for a huge piece of business, and their Christmas bonuses next year will be based on dismantling the dollar and rolling out the new currency. So I would anticipate that within the next 3 to 6 months, the Wall Street Journal will introduce America to the new currency, and how great it is, and how everyone's going to love it. And by the way, the banks on Wall Street are going to make a huge killing in issuing bonds in this new currency, and everything's going to be created in this new currency, and it's going to be fantastic. Of course, what they won't mention is that it's going to lower the purchasing power of Americans by 50 to 60%, and America will officially be in the second world and making its way to the third world.
Unless we finally kick the real government, it's illegitimate, but it's the government, this banking cartel, out of the country. It's either us or them.
Well, Alex, okay, the bridge right behind me here in Cairo. 1 million people walked over that bridge 4 weeks ago and toppled their government without a single shot, without any guns, with nothing. No money, no military, just with the will to be free. It happened right here. So you tell me there's a regime in America that's tyrants are ruling the country. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for, America? What are you waiting for? What is it going to take? How many of you have to go to jail? How many of you have to have all your money stolen? How many jobs have to be outsourced to Egypt and the rest of the world?
How many lies? Stay there.
Thank you for listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
Diamond Gusset is proud to announce the anthem of the Patriot Movement. They're offering a free CD, T-shirt, and bumper sticker with a qualifying purchase. Diamond Gusset offers great products at great prices while keeping Americans working.
I'm looking for a factory where a man can feed his family. Not worried about them moving it south, closing the doors and shutting her down tomorrow. I'm looking for
We're American and be proud. Go to gusset.com/America.